right. So today, a little something different. Maybe just kind of an introduction to some things that you might want to explore. So we have so many tools in our business, y'all. We have apps for everything. We have systems, we have CRMs, you name it. It can get overwhelming and it can be a little bit cumbersome to keep track of it all. Having some tools available on your phone is a very useful thing to have. And so what today I thought as a relatively new licensee or getting back into the business, what I thought I would do for you guys today is introduce you to some of the apps that you may want to have on your phone, some of the things that the capabilities of what they can do for you, and just some basic introductions just for familiarity. Now, let me caveat everything that I'm about to say by saying this is not Jay saying that you need to have every single one of these apps on your phone. Okay, I personally do not have every single one of the apps that I'm going to talk to you about on my phone, but there are quite a few of them that I do. I'm also not saying some of the apps that I'm going to show you today may have some fees or services or cost of having that app and using that app. And I'm not necessarily advocating that you need to spend that money either. But what I am doing today is helping you to become familiar with what is available to you and help you to make a better choice of whether or not you would like to use that or spend that money to advance your business. Sound like a good plan, everybody? Okay, so to that end, I am going to introduce you to this. I have quite a few of these, so with all due respect and in respect to everybody's time, I am likely to try to flip through these fairly quickly. So is everybody looking at the beginning opening slide, phone apps everybody needs?
Sure.
Thank you. Just want to make sure I'm screen sharing the right one. All right, so we all know there's tons of apps. That's the intro slide that I've already done. Let me do this. So the first app that I would like to familiarize yourself with is you got to have a mortgage calculator app somewhere on your phone. This is, I cannot remember the name of the one that's pictured up at the top of this is one that I actually have. And what do you know? It's not actually on there. But that one's a good one, and I like it because it's got these slide rules on it that you can go, okay, if you want to know what a $300,000 house with a down payment of 3% is at an interest rate of 5%, it'll tell you the exact payment. If you want to know what your client says, my monthly payment is X, you could go in and set the toolbar on the monthly payment and come up and find out what their sales price is that they can actually realistically afford. That makes sense to everybody? Love this one. Zillow has a decent mortgage calculator app from what I understand. I typically don't try to put anything with the Z word related to it on my phone, just personally, but that's completely up to you whether you want to do that or not. CC, I will find out the name of that app. You know what? Hang on. It's gonna drive me crazy now. I'm gonna have to find it and tell you exactly what the name of that one is. It literally is called Mortgage Calculator. I'll send you all a link when we get done from here. I'll put a link in and send it out to everybody. Okay. But thank you for that question, CC. So the next one after a mortgage calculator app, Turbo Scan or something similar to it, a scanning program where you can take a photo on your phone and that photo becomes a scan. So one of the people, Danny, was on the call today. Danny went to me at a closing yesterday. I have actually used this app at a closing before when I've got my folder with all of my paperwork and documents in it, and the closing attorney was missing one of the amendments that was needed for the file. I was able to pull out my folder, take a photo with the app, scan it, immediately send it off to the processor at the closing attorney's office. It worked great. So great tool. You gotta have it. All right. Google Drive. Y'all know that you have a Google Workspace account. That is your Century 21 email is Google Workspace, and it has, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a gigabyte of storage, more storage than you are likely to ever need. And you can access it through the Google Drive, and it allows you to do all of the things that you would do storing files on a Google Drive. Great for obviously your doc folders and things like that, but even photographs when you get your photos from your photographer for your listings. It's a great place to store all of that in a central location, and then you can just send a link to the help desk when they're putting it in the MLS for you. Everybody follow? Some more things that Google Drive does for you. Similar product, doing it basically the exact same functions, but you may have Dropbox. Silly me, I think I've got both Dropbox and Google Drive on my phone. Maybe I don't need that. Maybe I could save some money somewhere. I don't know. I should probably look into that. All right. Calendly is a great app, y'all, and it takes the ability to, it takes the whole scheduling of appointments and makes it much easier for your clients, your peers, your co-op agents. You know, when you're scheduling a coaching appointment on my schedule or any of the other coaches in the building, you're doing it using Calendly, and it's a great little tool. It allows you to put a calendar app right there on your signature block and let people schedule anytime with you. Okay. And by the way, since how we're talking about this, let me talk about something else. I know that my coaching schedule is getting crazy lately, and it's taking sometimes a couple of weeks out. Let me cue you in. If you look at the bottom of my signature block, in addition to booking a coaching session with me for 30 minutes, you can also book a 15-minute phone call. If you've got a quick question that just needs a quick response, or, hey, what do you think about this? It's much easier to schedule a 15-minute session than it is a 30 or 45-minute session. So there's more opportunities for you to capture my attention that way. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. But I strongly recommend you use Calendly and make that available. You can put it on your website. Calendly has a widget to allow people to schedule directly from your website. I haven't done that on mine yet. If anybody wants to play around with that, I'd love to do that with you and explore that. And once we break the code, we can tell everybody in the brokerage how to do it. All right. Another good app that there are multiple different people in the same workspace is something called Magic Plan or something similar to it. There was a new one that Georgia MLS just came out with that the name is escaping me at this moment, but it's the ability to create a 3D or even a 2D floor plan of your property. Very useful tool, very helpful. This one does have a cost associated with it, and as I recall, it's actually it's not cheap, as I recall. But if you use it a lot, if you're going to be doing a lot of listings, Magic Plan or something similar to it might be a good, advantageous thing for you to have on your phone. All right. And then, of course, you have got to have your CRM. Your CRM is the most important thing for your business. And having it available and readily available on your phone is key and critical. Now, here's the difference between our CRM and several others. There is not a full-blown app per se for Moxie that you can get on the App Store or Google Play or wherever you happen to download your apps from. However, there is a way, and this is actually how we're doing it. It's not actually an app, but a web bookmark that you can put directly onto your home screen. And if you look at the little screens there, it actually shows you how to do it. You basically go into Google Chrome or Safari on your phone, you open up your Moxie and log in like normal. And then you use the little button down here at the bottom. You see next to the red arrow right here with the little up arrow tick, and you add it to your home screen and you put Moxie Engage and hit add. And then you will always have that little icon right on your home screen so that you can always access and quickly and easily access your Moxie CRM straight from your phone. Everybody good? And if you need the instructions on how to do this, they are available in the support.moxieworks.com website. And all you got to do is say put, if you do a Google search or a little search on there for how to put Moxie on my phone, and that's what it'll come up. All right. Zoom, y'all, the effectiveness of Zoom cannot be argued in this day and age, and there are some appointments that you could potentially be doing, little meet and greet appointments with your client base, that not to substitute meeting in person, but to supplement meeting your clients in person. Zoom can be a very helpful tool to do that, to be able to meet with them for things like pre-listing appointments or pre-showing appointments or something along those lines where you're just trying to get information, or maybe you're meeting your client for your weekly update on the listing and you're going to talk about a price reduction and the showings that they've had. Those are great meetings to do via phone or via Zoom on either your laptop or your phone. All right. Everybody knows, who's known me for more than 10 minutes knows that I have a love-hate relationship with Canva. I love what Canva's capabilities are. I just don't like it, just simply because I'm not a graphics kind of a person. But Canva is a great tool, and I know many agents like Hari's on here. Danny does a great job with using Canva to do some excellent stuff on their social media. And I'm assuming they're doing a lot of that on their phone. All right. Now, let's talk about navigation. Everybody has their own personal go-to mapping software. By all means, I'm not trying to sway you or anything, but I will tell you and give some advice to those of you who are not Atlanta natives. In my opinion, Google Maps doesn't work as well. Waze is much more effective with Atlanta traffic, in my opinion, and with routing and getting you around issues. You make your own choices. I personally am a big Waze fan, and one of the things I like most about it is, let me go back, is the route planning. I was trying to highlight that down there at the bottom. But if I'm going and I'm showing 7 or 8 houses in a day, I will sit down in that morning and I will put all 7 or 8 houses into my route planning within Waze. And that way it's just easy to pick up the phone while you're walking around house number 1, and you immediately pull up house number 2, and you can say, okay, well, we've got a 15-minute trip there, and we've got, we're already behind schedule, and it tells you need to hurry your clients up or you need to slow them down, one of the two. But having them in there, having the routes already pre-planned and knowing when you got to be there and on what schedule is very, very helpful. I like Waze. All right. Forewarn is a great program, and this is one that it was put out by, I think it's actually endorsed by, or it might actually be partnered with National Association of Real Estate, but it allows you to do some very key things like helping to identify prospective buyers, prospects, clients that you're likely to be meeting with, looking for things like criminal history, any financial risks. And you can, most importantly, it has some tools in there to help you to show more safely, i.e. there's a thing in here where you can actually send a pre-identified warning where you're saying, I'm going to text my broker, my husband, my wife, whatever, if something happens to me during this showing. And all you have to do is push one button in order to activate that. Okay. I think it's awesome. because if it had that feature alone, it would be probably worth the money, but it has that plus so much more with the ability to do background checks and look for criminal histories on people that you might be meeting. Don't make the same mistakes I've made. I actually had somebody approach me as a buyer of a $1.2 million house. Put them under contract, found out that they were not going to turn in earnest money. They had no intention of turning in earnest money. They had no intention of going through with the contract. And as soon as I Googled the person's name, the first thing that came up was a fraud report on them. Had I had forewarned, I might have saved myself a whole lot of trouble. So learn from my mistakes is what I will say. All right, here we go. Get back on my screen here. All right, so that is forewarn. I do not know the cost. Does anybody know or have an idea what the cost of forewarn is? I think it's a monthly thing, maybe 19, 20 bucks a month, something like that. It's been a while since I've checked.
I'm not sure about that, Jay, but I do have a question about forewarn in general.
Go ahead.
Can we use it to screen tenants if we're listing a property for rent?
I don't think its primary purpose is for that. There are other programs and there are other systems that do help with that, and they're usually associated with either the MLS, either Georgia MLS or FMLS. But there's also some paid services through Zillow too.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. All right. Of course, when you're showing homes, you have to have showing time on your phone. I cannot tell you how many times that you will need to change your showing times on the fly, cancel showings. Your client decided I didn't want to go into that neighborhood after all. Do the courteous thing and cancel your showings or reschedule them. Try to remain on time and use the showing app to keep your homes advised of where you are in your cart or in your showing schedule. Okay. Any questions on showing time? One of the things that I also like to do, and this is a little known feature within showing time, when you're done with the showing, you can actually hit the little button on the showing time app that will actually send a notice back to the homeowner that you are finished with your showing so that they can be notified to be able to come home. They've probably left the house to allow you to be able to walk through. Can't tell you how many times I've walked out of a showing and I see a mom in a stroller walking on the sidewalk, hovering near the front of the house, waiting for you to get the heck out of Dodge. Well, if you if you hit that little button on your showing time app, it sends her the text that says, "Hey, it's okay for you to come home now. I'm done." That's just courtesy. You would want that if you were showing the house?
Where is that button? I'm sorry, on the showing time?
On showing time, when you are as you are actually at the showing, when you open up the showing time app, it'll actually see that you're at the showing and during the time that the showing happens. And there's a little button at the bottom that says notify homeowner when complete. And you just hit that button.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
All right. Of course, in order to show, you've got to have, in addition to the showing time app, you've got to have your Super E key. Can't imagine anybody leaving home to show homes without your Super E key. To be able to open doors, monitor your listing inventory. You can actually use it to leave feedback, although I'm not a big fan of doing that. I prefer to do it via showing time instead. But you can also change any of the key box settings. You can mount it to the door. You can dismount the box from the door. All of this using your Super E-Key app. Okay. One little tip on Super E-Key is if you're going to be in remote areas where the cell signal may not be very good, always a good idea to update your E-Key before you leave the house. Okay. And there is when you open it up, it'll literally say, update your E-key. And it is just that simple. Okay. Home Snap. Home Snap is actually a decent tool that I use quite frequently. HomeSnap has all of the property reviews in it. It is a quick and dirty, easy way when you're on the fly showing. I'm not a big fan of the FMLS app itself because it's very clunky, but the HomeSnap app works really, really well, and it allows you to schedule showings from within it also. All right. One of the other things that I really like about the HomeSnap app is it allows you to look up other agents and be able to get their contact information, and it allows you to easily upload their contact information into your phone. So let me show you this little key on here. All right. So if you go to HomeSnap and you look on HomeSnap Pro and look under agents, you can type in the name of any agent. I happened to look up this guy named Dwayne Amos, and I was able to see things like his contact information, his deal flow, how many listings he's done, how many buyers he's done. This is over the last 24 months. So you can see transaction history. Don't you think that's some great, useful information, y'all? Would you like to know who you're up against when you have a listing and the buyer's agent calls you and starts asking questions? You'd like to know whether that agent is experienced or if they're brand spanking new. Might give you a strategic advantage, right? So I'm going to tell you folks, one of my tips and tricks, one of the things that I do every time I'm having a new interaction with a potential cooperative agent, I look them up, I pull up this screen, and then I look at their deal flow, and I also am able to use this little button. Everybody looking at the PowerPoint again, the add to address book. You click that on your phone, and it immediately then opens up the contacts on your phone, and you can save that into your phone. All right. I'm going to tell you, everybody that is on this call, you are in my phone right now with all of your contact information, and you are in there now because this is the process that I go through to load you into my phone whenever you join our brokerage. It's simple, it's quick, it's easy. I'm all about saving y'all time, right? All right. So Open Door, why am I telling you you need the app for a different brokerage or a different real estate company on your phone? Well, for one reason and one reason only. Not that you necessarily need any information off of the Open Door app or need to submit offers or anything like that, but when you have an Open Door house, the only way to open that door is through the Open Door app. So if you're don't make the same mistakes that many of us have made. You're showing 5 houses and you simply go into showing cart, you schedule all 5 houses, and you don't realize that the 3rd house that you're doing is an Open Door house and it doesn't have an MLS number and it doesn't have a super box. And then all of a sudden you're standing in front of on the front porch trying to download the Open Door app and put it on your phone and register so that you can unlock that door. Okay. That's why you need the Open Door app. Don't be caught with your pants around your ankles on that one, folks. All right, you need your broker mint on your phone. Broker mint will always have your pipeline. It'll have your deals. It'll have your documents. It'll have your timelines. It'll have all of the information that you might need to reference at a given time. Okay. Next, Real Scout Pro. Of course, we are big advocates of your use of Real Scout. In concert with your CRM Moxie, Real Scout Pro has a great app. Actually, Real Scout has 2 different apps. There's the Real Scout app and Real Scout Pro app. If you are advocating that you're, for your clients, you would probably want to tell them to download the Real Scout app. Real Scout Pro is your version of it, which is for the agents, and it allows you to track things like your clients' activities on their Real Scout. Okay, Real Scout Pro is the one for you as an agent to download and put on your phone. And of course, because the brokerage is paying for it, Real Scout Pro is free to you. Mile IQ. Your CPA and your tax advisors will thank you for using Mile IQ or some other mileage tracking software. I have Mile IQ on my phone, and my tax guy loves me every year when I turn in. I think on average, I think I'm, and this is me not being as an active an agent as I have been in the past. I think last year I was able to deduct 5 or 6 grand of travel expenses off of my taxes because of Mile IQ, and to have it all in a report that is easy for my my CPA to look at. It's a great tool. Mile IQ is not the only one. There are other mileage trackers out there. Mile IQ seems to work well for me, but by all means, investigate all of them. Okay, the next two, this one and the next one, are actually fairly new to me, and I'm still playing around with these, and the jury's still out on it. Compass and Sun Surveyor is a good one. I've had clients before. You and Harry, you're I think you're smiling in the background there, maybe because you know, but certain cultures and cultural groups are very oriented towards feng shui and the facing of the direction of the house. Compass and this Sun Surveyor is good. Compass is good for figuring out which direction the house faces, and Sun Surveyor is great if you've got like a gardener or somebody that's into horticulture or plantings or whatever the case may be, and they want to see where the sun's going to be and how the path is going to go and where are their shadows going to be. Sun Surveyor is a good one. All right. And then this is one that I literally loaded onto my phone about a week ago. And it's primarily for use when you're selling land and lots. And it's called OnX Hunt. And it is actually a hunting software, but it's great with maps and topographical maps and land boundaries. So it has public and private land boundaries, and you can overlay topographical maps over top of it. I found this to be very helpful. Actually, it was another agent. I have an 18-acre lot that is listed out in Rockmart that I've had on the market for about 6 months. And a buyer's agent said, well, I've got my OnX Hunt app. I can go out and walk it and walk the property boundaries with the buyer. And I'm like, tell me about that app. And they put me onto it. So, but I love the topographical map. You can't find topo maps on anything else. So my particular land lot, that 18 acres, is very sloped and hilly, and I was able to produce a map that I can now use in some of my marketing pieces through that too. So it's very helpful. And that includes all of the apps that I have for you today. I think there was 24 or 25 of them there. Again, not advocating that you go out and load every single one of them, but I wanted to make sure that you were familiar with some of the tools that are out there and how you can use them to help advance your business. All right. Anybody got any that you have been using that you find helpful that I skipped or omitted from this list? I'd love to explore them and add it to the mix. Anybody got any? Oh, come on, guys. I thought somebody would have.
It's more for social media and maybe commercial. I like Crexy. You know, it's for commercial sort of.
Okay.
But it's also to get multifamily because many multifamily aren't on FMLS. So Crexy is a good one. And for social media, there is InShot, which is a really, really strong editor. And it's easy to use, but it looks professional.
What was it called? What was the first one?
Crexy, CREXI, and that's for like multifamily and potentially commercial properties, like office spaces and all of that. I know this is a residential brokerage, but that's what I use. That's good.
And then the social media was what was it called?
InShot, INSHOT.
InShot. Okay. Good. Let me look into those. Maybe I'll add them to the mix for the next time I teach this class.
And I know
is there an unpaid version of Crexy? Because I thought it was like $300 a month.
That's only if you get like the pro, but you can get like the normal version, which is free. But you have to call the agent and sign an NDA to get some undisclosed rates, which is not that hard to do.
Okay. Already got the hook on it. All right. Anybody got anything else? Oh, and the hi, yeah, Aldo. Hi, hello. Good one. I got to add that. I've got hi, hello, but if somehow I just didn't make it into my slides today. Hi, hello. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Have a great day. If you need anything, you know how to get on my calendar in 2 different ways now. All right. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jane.